He makes a noise.
So we'll be continuing to explore for quite a bit more time since we're going to be expanding the area. We'll probably be going to the next watch or so with us. Can't give you a definitive time on when we'll be diving or going over some of our targets, just because we still have quite a bit of search area to explore. The question excuse me, regarding the control van temperature, we don't really have an issue. It's nice and cool down here, and excuse me, up here, because we are on top of the vessel, and we have quite a bit of technology in here, so there's a lot of air conditioning power being pumped in here to make sure that we're not frying any of our electronics. So you just come in, bring a hoodie just in case, and you're all good. There's a little target on our left coming up in the mezzo, which I'm going to guess is a rock.
That's pretty tiny. It's a rock or a cough drop.
A very small airplane.
One of those little balls wind up.
Just out of curiosity, how wide is the radius on the mesograph?
Sorry, what was that?
How wide is the radius on the mesograph?
So right now there are 10-meter divisions. Each red semicircle is 10 meters away from the scanner.
Okay, so that like small blip is going to pass way outside of
So
our visual range?
yeah, 35, 30.
Yeah.
So we won't see it, I don't think. It would, yeah, it's too far out, but it's going to show up in the side scan now.
Gotcha.
30.
There it is. Called it, Rennie. You called it.
I'm cheating. We have forward face scanning, so I'm not gonna. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure we will if we find something. And we'll approach it again and record that. And I don't know. I think Justin would. I don't know if it's. Yeah.
So for our viewers, please keep those questions coming. We enjoy hearing from you.
Renato, what do you think, what do you visualize Bobby Argus looking like? It's an extremely important question.
I'm gonna let you artistically interpret.
Oh, no.
I envision Bobby Argus looks like the guy on the old-fashioned Mountain Dew commercials. He's got on coveralls, no shirt, and a straw hat.
Yeah, that's probably about right.
What's
But
he
the size of a jockey.
Hold on. What's he sound like? What'd you and Gabby come up
Oh
with?
yeah, I don't want to get into it.
I can call her.
There's definitely an accent.
West Virginia?
Was he British?
Nope. And neither are you, clearly.
Oh! Oh!
Get some aloe for that bird. We'll talk about that later.
No, it sounds like a good discussion.
I could do a Turkish accent.
What?
If only I knew where it was.
What?
Oh, wait, this is the other watch. Never mind. Sorry, I'm calling back a joke from the other watch. You guys don't know it.
How dare you? Keep that watch to its watch jokes. We're all about incandescent light bulbs and
Yeah.
Argus, Bobby Argus.
So we'll flip the script again for our viewers. How long have you been following along Nautilus? Is this your first year, first dive, or have you been exploring with us for many years?
Yeah, we have a few people who write in that they've been listening for a long time, and they try not to miss any of it.
I haven't seen anything from Dan online.
Oh, we've got some
A little
questions
bit.
from Dan.
No.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Good.
Dan is still around.
Nice. I was chatting with Moya the other night.
And Moya, yeah,
Dan,
New Zealand.
Moya.
closer to her time. Oh, we got a top down, huh? It's pretty good.
Rocking the orthographic views now.
Yeah.
You
Put
leave
it back to the clown colors for the next watch. They love that.
Can't wait to see Mike's reaction when you
Happy birthday.
Right, we got you a Viking ship.
Put in a little airplane with legs.
It's pretty good. So to review the targets that we come up with, we actually
Mike's been down processing that stuff in the data lab. Get down and take a look at it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll have to do that. What would happen would actually probably go back over it with Argus to view it from another angle using the sonar, and if possible also just directly go over it. But not quite there yet. Moya's been with us for 6 years.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Moya's great. She writes in often.
Yeah.
Another
Great
one,
questions, great point of view.
3 years for another viewer, and they've been roping their friends into it as well. And a new fan following since 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time Monday.
All right.
There you go.
Another one been viewing for 4 years. And another one has been a rabid fan, quote unquote, since the USS Independence.
1776?
Just the absurdity of what I'm looking at.
Is there text on it? (2018) Bobby from Burbank, who's now adopted the moniker Bobby Argus Jr.
Nice.
That's good.
I used to love flying out of the Burbank airport when I worked for Sony.
You gotta leave that up. No.
Watch shift or changes in 15 minutes.
That was, yeah. Yeah.
I think that clock is UTC. Oh.
So will today be the pizza day?
I don't
We
know,
just
but
keep the rumor going.
we're not even going to be at sea for us Sunday, are we?
So we'll be in port Saturday?
I don't have a clue.
Yeah.
I just know on one of the port calls they hand me a plane ticket.
If memory serves me correct, you got a few port calls before then.
Yeah.
Just one or two.
Yeah, I have no idea. Do we? Maybe that's not a...
Summer, we've got a great question for you about, does piloting an ROV have a lot of overlap when it comes to piloting an aircraft? Do you see a lot of similarities between the two?
Yeah, a lot of similarities in terms of kind of instrument management. You've got a lot of things obviously in a plane that you do on a vehicle. So, I mean, obviously altitude's kind of a thing you look at, and speed not so much. You know, you don't have to worry about stalling in on an ROV, but there's different kind of challenges associated with flying an ROV through the water column versus flying a plane through air. So one thing is, you know, flying an airplane, you don't have to worry about this huge, long, heavy cable or another vehicle attached to you. So you're always having to be more cognizant of your surroundings when you're flying an ROV. For instance, if you're in a lot of terrain or cliffs or hydrothermal vents, obviously if you're in an airplane or a submarine even, you can just fly over that stuff and avoid it. But when you've got stuff hanging on top of you that's slowing you down and or could possibly get snagged up and drag you, so there's that aspect of it. And yeah, the instrument monitoring, like I said, there's headings, obviously a thing, and temperatures, pressures, and all your gauges. And there's a lot more also to monitor with an ROV, since you've got a ton more equipment that is part of the operation versus just, you know, your airplane and its engine and its structural integrity. Yeah, so a lot of things kind of go hand in hand: pre-diving, pre-flighting, post-diving, post-flight. Make sure you've got enough fuel. That's the difference, too, in an airplane than ROV, electricity versus fuel. Yeah, and also, like, you know, you got winds aloft. Winds can go at different directions at different altitudes. Same with the sea, you know, the ocean. You have different currents at different depths. So that'll have an effect on...
There's a lot more communication in flying, too, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're... It depends, actually. Like, you can go visual flight rules and not have to talk to anybody. And you can... Or you can go... talk to tower all the time. You can be talking to ATC, so you get more kind of traffic avoidance and guidance on how to get routes and stuff. And again, obviously, too, yeah, traffic's a thing. A lot of planes in the sky, not many ROVs under the surface of the ocean that you're worried about colliding into.
Have you ever had to land at like a large airport at all, like Class 3 airport? Yeah.
Land at Bravo airports, Miami International, Fort Lauderdale International.
Right.
It's the same. People think, oh, like, why would you want to fly a small plane? I mean, they're just as you know, they're part of the FAA, and you're a
Right.
FAA certified pilot, so they've got to let you in between the big guys. And it sounds intimidating, but it's really just another runway, and usually the better because they're longer and you got more time
Yeah.
for options if something goes wrong. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the same kind of skills translate, I would say.
All right, thanks.
What do you fly, Cherokee?
Cherokee 6. I mean, flying different planes, but that's the one I mostly fly. I've
Right.
flown Diamonds and Pilatuses and Cessnas.
Our contractor just bought a 150.
Nice.
I thought the 172 was a more popular aircraft.
Yeah, that's most training aircrafts are 172s.
Yeah.
They're just kind of easy to fly, easy to get in, basic.
Bigger.
Six-pack instruments, bigger, yeah.
I've heard this I mean, this is completely different, but from commercial pilots, the 747 is super easy to fly.
I mean, I've never been in a jumbo jet, but I'm sure they've got all the bells and whistles. I've flown right seat in a Honda jet before, and I mean, they're great aircraft. It's very hands-off. A lot of things are automated, and you know, it'll even fly and approach the entire thing for you. And
Has automated speed brakes and everything?
that you have to control.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but you know, the actual altitudes that you're descending to and each fix that you're on with the GPS, it's all integrated.
Yeah,
Everything's
yeah.
glass panel. You don't really have those analog gauges anymore. Even the training flights now.
Wow.
I think most training planes are getting converted into the newer stuff, and it's all glass panel. And
Wow.
I think you still have to learn, I hope you still have to learn dead reckoning and all that, because obviously if your instruments go out,
Yep.
you've got your backup
Yeah.
analogs, but so you're not relying on just
That's what happened
GPS,
at that thing in San Francisco when their iOS was out.
Yeah, the
They
other.
didn't have a glide path, and
So I found this out the hard way. I was planning a flight and into Georgia, I think, and it was you have to, every flight you have to check these things called NOTAMs, and they're notices to airmen, and they're about, you know, you type in your route, and it's really great now with all the technology and digital age that we're in. But you can type your flight where you want to go A to B in your route, and it'll give you NOTAMs for that route saying, okay, like this fix, you know, this vortex is out, or this, you know, fix is changed or whatever to this. So one time I was flying, and they said the area that I was flying through, for like a good stretch of it was going to be down, like all like nav fixes and aids were going to be down. GPS was still going to work intermittently.
wow.
And I was like, well, that's crazy. And it's for the military. We're testing ways that if, for instance, we had some crazy terrorist attack or whatever, all our satellites went down, that they would still be able to navigate using other means.
Right.
So that's why they had cut all that stuff off. And yeah, so that's other things you have to check for pre-flight. There's a lot into a pre-flight, obviously. Planning your fuel and your winds and what altitude you fly at, because the favorable winds. And
Post-flight's a lot different here.
yeah, I mean,
just grab your logbook and go trucking off to the rental car.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you had a good landing, you don't really have to check too much. As long as you didn't have a hard landing and nothing's leaking out of it, that's considered an successful flight. Success.
Answer some of the questions that are coming in.
Great.
When's the next Herc dive? We don't know. That has to do a lot with what we find in the search area and when we find it. We're continuing to expand our search area and do our lawnmower patterns kind of back and forth. And we have Lonnie. You've converted some viewers, and they said their kids are loving it. I'd like to know what the crew does in their spare time. I think quite a few of us try to sleep in between watches.
Oh, that must be nice.
Yeah, except for Ed.
I do get some sleep, of course.
Ed stands outside and photosynthesizes to sustain himself.
Yeah,
There's
I
a gym.
realized-
There's a
yeah.
gym you
There's
can
a
go
gym,
to.
yeah.
Yeah.
Couple of observation decks.
I can go up onto the monkey deck and enjoy the
Snap
view.
zoom.
I have not been on the monkey deck since I came back.
And
Trying
the
to think if I was on it before. I must have been.
And the food is incredible. We seem to all be eating in our spare time.
Been on
Yep.
top of the van. Yeah, coming in. On what? That rock?
Nice, a
around.
rock.
Forgot what those look like.
Hello, birthday guy.
Good afternoon, everyone. Here's the watch, the 4 to 8 watch.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We're all set here if you guys want to do introductions.
Perfect. Well, this is Valeria Tamayo Cañadas in the communications.
This is Stephen Matter in the video chair.
Wendy in the Argus seat.
You almost said her.
Michael in the spot where my job used to be. There's less and less things here every day. I don't know. I was a Herc pilot. Now I'm assistant to the Argus pilot.
He's not the assistant Argus pilot. He's the assistant 2.
Assistant 2, that's right.
Very specific. Very
For all you
Do you see this? The controls aren't even here anymore. There's nothing here.
Go get me some coffee.
Yeah, you could be
I
in
need
charge
some
of the
My
photocopies.
cup runneth empty. Yeah.
You don't have a job anymore. Didn't you get the memo?
Like Milton.
You're
Stop
gonna go down
paying
to
me.
the basement and your statement's getting taken away.
That's why they tried to lock you down in the winch hole.
Yeah, just stop paying them.
Take your picture out of the crew.
Okay, but what do you do? I'm a people person.
Speaking of that picture, that your hair in that photo is just amazing.
Fantastic.
Oh, actually, we had
Your hair
blown in the wind.
Amazing.
we had a couple of comments about that. I didn't mention that, but we did.
Oh yeah, because it's the same photos for Who's on Watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I told him I wanted to use mine from like from 2011. I was like, yeah, use that one. I look a little bit younger.
So, moving past Mike's lack of a job.
Somebody with a real job.
I'm Chris. I'm the navigator on this watch.
I'm the other Mike on board. I'm the watch leader and co-lead scientist for the expedition.
And I'm Rebecca Whiffler. I'll be acting as the data logger for the 4 to 8 shift.
Perfect.
I like the change in color on the high pack.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm feeling about this orange.
So that was Summer and Rennie asked me what my favorite color was, and I said orange, so they changed it to that because it's my birthday.
Oh my God, the birthday
I thought that was really cute, though.
Right.
Speaking
Birthday
of
boy.
which,
You just ruined the surprise. We were going to sing for you.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
Are we though?
Are we?
Yes, Chris, you were in charge.
What? No.
No.
We said it.
I spoiled it. You can't do it now.
But yeah, we completely missed that in the morning. I had no idea.
I don't think they put it on the whiteboard till
I
after
wasn't
we
gonna
were
say
up here.
anything.
Yeah, but happy birthday.
Thanks.
Yeah,
I've had I think
birthday.
3 or 4 birthdays on Nautilus.
Wow.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Happy birthday!
Thank you. Yeah, I thought when we were doing line 17 on the 17th, we might have found something, but we didn't.
Oh.
Darn.
When we were talking about all those like coincidental numbers, I was like, oh, come on, it's got to happen, and then it didn't. So.
Wait, is your birthday one of the high pack line numbers?
Well, the 17th of July,
Oh,
so just 17.
There's another sea cucumber.
For your
but
birthday.
I was born in 81, and it's 81 years ago that the
Oh,
plane crashed. So there's that
yeah.
connection.
Okay.
If we needed a connection.
I told Rennie the whole 56, 56, 56 thing.
Yeah.
And he goes, wow, you guys are really grasping at straws here.
He's like, nerds.
It was either him or Miles.
I thought that was pretty cool.
That's a big one. Now we're just like looking for it.
Yeah. It's like whatever those numbers were in Lost.
Oh yeah.
I only watched the first season. I didn't really even understand how the ending, but I know a lot of people were like, what?
Yep.
So I got a question here. As we come to the end of this line, the point,
yeah,
the north Tapu Tapu. Are we going to want to look at that?
No, that's just an estimate. So someone said that, like a witness reported that they observed the crash happen 12 or 12.5 miles north of Tapu Tapu Point, which is the westernmost point of American Samoa. So that's just to note where that was. It's not any sort of precise location whatsoever. I just wanted it on the map to remind us. You know, I think we'll cover enough of that area with where we are anyway. North and east are not really on our priority list because that was the direction things were drifting. So chances are the source of things that were drifting were south and west, which is why those lines have gone in.
Got it.
You'll also note that there's a line that's 50 meters north of line 11. That's because, did I tell you this?
No, Rennie was.
Okay, yeah, so
telling
line
me.
11, we just didn't get good coverage on, I think because Argus was kind of tilted to the side. So there's about an 80 to 100 meter gap in the coverage. And so I just want to, not anytime soon, but it's on the to-do list if we don't find anything else, just to rerun that line a little bit further to the north to make sure we don't have that gap. There are a few other small gaps in coverage just because of like Argus kind of kiting around, but they're not significant. So if, you know, on the last day, I may have us rerun that, but that's the only one so far. So I've only imported half the data because we're still collecting.
So does it look like we're going to finish the preliminary grid on this watch?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
we're about to turn onto the last line, and those lines take like 2 hours or so. So, yep.
So we're going to finish it.
We're going to
Yay!
finish it, and then we're going to start one of the western lines going south.
Cool.
Perfect.
Chris, do you think we want to do line 22, or do we want to start with line 23? Like 22 is kind of where we were turning all the time, right?
Yeah, it was where we were turning. It would be solid coverage of
better data.
those areas if we wanted it. But we could also leave that for when we go south to those potential extra lines. It could be just the transit.
Well, I mean, I expect that we're going to go to the southern lines when we're after we've done a south line on the west side. Like, we're not going to...
Oh, not do all of them, just do...
Well, so the last line, we would end up going north on it? I wouldn't have us end up... So the other question is, and Megan was just talking about this, we might decide, and she's going to chat with people during dinner, we might decide to go south on a west line, then turn and do a south line, so the only actual 180 degree turns at the far end of each one. So like do 22 and then 36 and then 35 and then 23 and then 24 and then 34.
Gotcha.
Just because it would actually be a little bit more efficient with our turning.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't particularly care either way, so they're going to chat about it. We have plenty of time before we make that decision, though.
Okay.
Perfect.
Cool.
Actually, isn't 22 and 23 kind of where we did the first line the first day?
Yes, I believe.
Because there's targets there.
Yeah, I think 22 is.
So let's plan to start with 23.
Okay.
I think 22's been covered enough.
I mean, some of these targets are turn targets that we arbitrarily put in.
Right, but I think it's been covered quite a bit. So let's just for maximizing coverage, let's start with 23.
Roger that.
When we get there. We could always do 22 going north if we want.
And happy birthday to Linda in Queensland, Australia. Today is her birthday too.
Happy birthday, Linda.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Linda, but I think your birthday's on the 18th, because it's still the 17th here.
but she's in Australia.
Right, and so it's tomorrow
that's past
there.
the date line.
It's tomorrow there already.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, I'm late. Never
But still
mind.
happy birthday to her from yesterday.
Okay, yeah.
It's time travel.
For her, it's from yesterday.
Time travels.
Yeah, I don't.
Complicated.
I like the slideshow on the multi-view. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a large boulder.
Yeah. And then its baby brother to the right.
So, pretty good rise here as we come around this turn.
Yeah, like 20, 30 meters.
Yeah, just about. I'm gonna try to do something similar to the turn that I almost pulled off before it got taken from me. It ended up being a really good turn.
But only after someone else took over.
And I started it. I laid the base work.
Alright, I don't know why these green lines come in. Because I didn't do anything.
Yeah, that happened yesterday too,
Yeah,
right?
I don't know what it is.
Sometimes our sub-bottom program would do that, and it would be like its own count, like internally of like some certain time interval that meant nothing to us.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. And I have seen it happen before. I just don't remember the reason for it.
So how much longer do we need to go to have the longest dive?
I think we're already there. Oh, longest dive.
Like beat the Herc dive
beat the Herc
too.
Dive.
I think we can do it.
I think we can do it. Not that I wanted it that way, but it seems like we're on that track.
I think Mark might be getting a little bored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say.
He's gonna run out of movies.
But as soon as we decide to come up, he's going to grumble about it anyway. Oh, you guys can't stay down any longer. Longa.
Yeah, you gotta get the
yeah, I don't do it very well.
The main accent.
I went to school in southern Maine, but not many people have that accent there.
What school did you go to?
Bowdoin.
I have some cousins that go to Bowdoin.
Yeah, it was really nice in the fall, but then winter and spring came around. I was like, ugh. It was kind of like
harsh.
Mike's description of Newfoundland. It's like, there's fall, there's summer, which is pretty short and mosquito-y. Fall, which is very nice, and then winter, and then slush.
Yeah.
Isn't it fall amazing there?
Yeah, like September, October is really, really nice.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my favorite season. Not too far from southern Maine.
Oh, really? Where do you live?
Well, Boston.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Oh, but you speak
2-hour drive.
normal.
I don't.
You don't?
Yeah, I don't have a Boston accent.
Thick Boston accent.
So I grew up in the suburbs. And So, yeah, I just, I've lived in the city for almost 12 years now, but, yep, I don't know. Don't have the accent. If you met my mom, though, you would hear it.
Yeah, first thing I noticed when I started my master's at UCSB is one of my classmates from Boston. I was like, what's wrong with this guy? I mean, like, not wrong, but it was like, oh.
It's very distinct.
What happened?
For sure.
Then I realized. I kind of like it, though.
It's very specific, too.
Yeah.
You know, like, even like Steven, like, he was just like a little bit off and just doesn't have it at all. You know, it's so, like, centralized.
I do like it.
When I tell people I'm from Massachusetts, they're like, oh, you don't have a Boston accent. It's just Boston. It's like, it's not like all of Massachusetts.
I can easily slip into it, depending on who I'm with. And
oh, yeah, if you're with a bunch of people
sodas.
from sodas.
That rock looks like a turtle.
Oh, yeah. We saw a turtle in the bay.
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, I missed that. I thought it was a like a lie. But it was there?
I can confirm that.
All
and
right.
I don't lie.
The
That's
sea
not true.
turtle?
Yeah.
I have a picture of it.
Ah, that really doesn't lie.
Yeah, Wendy has a video. I was just reading about the Samoan Clipper, and it seems like it was like one of the first serious losses that Pan Am suffered. And
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
also that there are no trace of this fleet of flying boats of that time in any museum or like any place that we could actually visit.
Yeah, that's right.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
They are pretty cool. I'm always amazed by the creativity that humans have, you know.
And do you know why they were built to land in the water?
No, not really.
Because there weren't airports yet.
Oh,
there were so
course.
few landing strips in the places that they were trying to create a route to that they had to land in the water, because American, nowhere in Samoa, for example, probably even New Zealand had any airstrips. So the only way to get plane route started was to have a water landing plane.
That's interesting, because right now we take for granted that, of course,
Oh yeah,
airplanes land
yeah,
in land.
right.
Right?
And if they land in the water, everyone has a big problem with that.
Exactly. And it's interesting that the first option for us as humans was to do it on the water, right?
Yeah, well, it's the flattest thing around.
Yeah.
Especially in Samoa, where it's like a bunch of giant mountains.
Were there ever similar planes that were outfitted with like skis to land on ice?
I don't know.
I believe I've seen, I mean, maybe not like similar size or whatever, but I believe I've seen, I mean, yeah, I know definitely some of the smaller planes that service some like Arctic and Antarctic stations have skis on their wheels, so that if the runway's covered with snow, they can still have traction. But I don't know if it was ever to this size.
Seeing these historic images reminds me of our fun little flight over here. That was a unique experience for me.
Very small plane?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's very small.
There were 6 rows in it. Or 7 rows. I was in row 6.
Oh, you were counting?
Well, I was row 6 and there's 1 row behind me, so I didn't have to count.
It was easy.
Yeah, I can count to 7 quite well.
That's good.
I don't know I don't know if I can get to 8, but definitely to 7. It's because I was born in July.
That's great.
And then, like, we didn't even get into the clouds. It was just right over all the islands. It was really cool. Because normally once you take off and you've looked out the window for a few minutes, you're too high to really see anything interesting.
Yeah.
But we were all taking photos the whole way.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll be doing that reverse flight in
Yeah.
You can just like
4 days.
use that
Same.
there.
Yeah.
Something.
I'm kind of obsessed with like getting a window seat and just.
Well, you're going to get a handwritten boarding pass, and they assign you the seat at that time. So
I think they assign the seats based on after they weigh you.
yeah,
Which
because
is
they
like
weigh you with your
balance it
carry-on.
out.
Oh, that makes sense.
And you have to weigh your check. No one actually had to leave anything behind, though. They just needed to kind of know what the weight was for it. It was really an interesting operation. We didn't go through security at all, though, which was sort of astonishing.
It was like that the other small flight that I took when I was in Alaska. There was no security. It was like a private company.
Yeah, I was like,
and they weighed us. It was a little bit bigger than that plane, but they weighed us.
I mean, was there any?
Everything, and then there was no security.
So on the flight, my flight from Boston to Honolulu, I saw Niagara Falls for the first time.
Oh, that's cool. From the air?
Yeah, from the air.
Wow, that's awesome.
And you know all the shorelines of the Great Lakes, and then I saw Mount Rainier as we went over into the Pacific.
Wait, you flew from where to where?
From Boston to Honolulu.
Oh, that's a long flight.
Yeah, well it beat stopping somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like it was 10.5 hours.
Yeah, because that's against the jet stream too.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I had a New York to Honolulu, so it was a similar time.
Yeah, Hawaiian Airlines just moved to Boston.
Oh, okay.
So, which is nice, so nice. It beats stopping in LA or San Fran or whatever.
Yeah. Mine was 13 hours though, because I put us on the plane for 3 hours before we took off.
Oof.
Oh, that sucks. I hate when they do that. We did that in LA. We got on the plane, and then they're like, "Well, the pilots are still in Vegas and they haven't taken off yet." I was like, "What?" So they're like, "If you can get off the plane if you want to." I'm like, "Bye." So I ran right off, and they're like, "Well, now too many people have gotten off, so we have to let everybody off." But we hung around there for it was like an hour, and then we got back on the plane.
Oh wow.
Yeah, no, we were sitting on the runway.
Oh, that's just the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, fortunately, we hadn't left the gate yet. Because the last thing I want is more time on a plane when you're not going somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not making any progress towards getting off the plane.
Yeah. You gotta watch out long periods of time sitting still. can be very detrimental to your
I
health.
think they warned us about that on one of our flights in the safety briefing.
Yeah, well, because when you sit still for very long times, usually younger people are more resilient, but a lot of times you can develop blood clots.
Yeah, some truckers have issues with that.
Yeah, when you're sitting down, and if you stand up and throw a blood clot, that's how you get a stroke.
Ooh.
What?
Fun times.
So a lot of times, yeah, people on really long flights can be fine, stand up, and have a stroke.
Ew.
So
That's why we should all be
make sure every couple of hours you get up, go to the bathroom, do some stretches.
Yeah, I also just like shift around in my seat a lot because I'm just
your
like
legs in your seat, whatever you got to do.
It's
Don't
so
sit still for 10 hours.
That's good advice. And also it's interesting that I feel like every time they design airplanes to be like the space is smaller and smaller.
Oh,
yeah.
to fit more people.
Yeah.
I just thought I was getting bigger.
I wish that was the case. Like
no.
But I feel like I'm I should be shrinking.
Yeah, no, for some reason I thought like the flight over here from I went Boston to LA to or no, sorry, I started in Pensacola. I've lost track of time. Pensacola to LA to Honolulu, and I thought the Honolulu flight for some reason was gonna have like a little extra room because it was a longer flight. No.
No.
Nope. And it was, I don't know how much money to get upgraded.
Yeah.
And on the way back, we fly a short flight from here to Fiji, and then a 10-hour flight from Fiji straight to LA. We skip Honolulu.
Yeah,
But then
I
it's
think some
just
of us are going back through New Zealand.
oof.
I'm doing the Fiji route.
I somehow got from Samoa to Honolulu to Boston.
There you go.
2 flights.
Wow, that's nice.
Just really long flights.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
But see, once you're in the air, then there's less chance of delays if you're not on like 5 flights.
And less chance to
And
lose
you don't
your
have
bags.
like hours and hours of layovers.
Well, on the way back, I don't care if I lose my bag.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I have like all of my stuff with me.
That's true.
Civilian clothes, uniforms, all that stuff.
You should come on watching your uniform.
On their last day.
Just sit in here. I mean,
And then you got to get a photo with the captain too.
Oh, yeah, that'd be good. That's how I spend all my other watches on our ships. We always have our uniforms on.
Right.
There's no, I mean, we kind of have our uniform khakis in our shirt.
Yeah.
It's just not
as precise.
Fire retardant or yeah.
Or ironed.
If there's a stain on it, no one is gonna yell at me.
We'd be in trouble if that was the case.
Yeah.
It'd be hard to stain dark blue.
Yeah. I mean, that's all our uniforms are, is dark blue, but
not white.
no,
Oh, okay.
I mean we have like our dress whites. But,
Oh, okay, yeah.
But that's for ceremonies. Our work uniform is dark blue, fire retardant work uniform.
Oh,
I don't know how to
That's
explain
wild.
it.
I didn't know their uniforms were fire retardant.
It's fire retardant once. So if you heat it up too much, it'll ruin the chemicals. So you're supposed to wash it and let it air dry. Everyone puts it in the dryer or irons it because you want it to look good.
And that ruins it.
Kind of ruins it. But
Oh.
we do have FFE or firefighting equipment and all the suits, so it's for quick escape.
What, like
you should
built
never,
in?
yeah, you should never really be fighting a fire with just your work uniform on. Bridge, Nev. Request we hold position. Thank you.
Chris, I think that line 37 down there is the same as line 1. So we probably want to skip it.
Okay, so we'll just go on to, was it 38?
36.
36. Oh, it goes up.
So we're going to
Okay.
do 23 and then 36.
Okay. I got to check. I know they're in plan. I don't know if they got uploaded yet.
Yeah, we have time. There's not a rush on
Yeah,
that.
we got, what, 2 hours?
At least.
Excellent. Let me just see. Yeah, no, I'll load them in after
Okay,
dinner.
Last minute.
Yeah, just wait to see
Like-
it counting down. Target time, 30 seconds. Oh no.
Load, load, load.
It crashes. Oh no. Got about 700 meters of layback still. Oh, someone changed. Did they change the ship color too?
Possibly.
Yes.
Oh, it's like that. Oh,
No,
wrong
other
way.
way.
That's, see, wouldn't you think 100%
That's
transparency?
absolutely opposite. That's
Yeah.
absolutely opposite. That's right.
There you go.
Yeah, transparency, the 100%
that's
should be on
not
the right.
Yeah.
It's weird. Every other program I've used is like that. It's figures high pack would be the opposite.
Yeah.
There's one of these clipper pictures here where they're dropping off something off of a horse and buggy.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
So let's see, Rebecca, you're staying on board after this expedition,
Yep, I'll be on for the next one.
and Mike, you are too, right?
Yep.
And Wendy, are you?
Yep.
Okay, but no one else?
Nope.
Valeria.
I am staying.
Oh,
yeah.
Valeria, you're staying for
Yeah.
okay. All right, cool.
It's just me and Steven, I guess.
Well, and I'm leaving too.
Oh, okay.
And I think Allison does, and obviously our science team does.
Solidarity.
Yeah.
We're gonna miss you guys.